Jamari.
What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is Jamari for here once again. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamari for here once again, and we are here to discuss this week's episode of this American Horror Story, My Roanoke Nightmare. Now, I hadn't discussed American Horror Story since Freak Show, and as we remember, Freak Show was terrible. Just terrible. And there's no excuse for it. It was just terrible. And then Hotel came out, and at the time, I didn't really want to try to talk about Hotel. I just kind of wanted to enjoy the series, just watch it, and maybe watch anybody else who talked about it. Ooh, excuse me. But this time, I watched the premiere last week, and I just watched episode 2 this week. And there are some interesting discussions to be had about this and the happenings that are, going on in this show. Now, I know I didn't do episode 1, but the only thing really about episode 1 that I want to discuss, because I'm going to assume that you guys saw it, so I don't need to run through the whole thing again. The thing that confused me the most was the fact that you have this couple, they bought this house, right? Now, as they're putting the bids in to buy this house from these, I guess they're just being told as hillbillies. They finally get the house. They pay the most for the house. They put their whole life savings into this house. And she's like, "Oh, I just got so, when he bid that money and he bought the house over those people, I felt so turned on." And I'm like, okay, cool. But then immediately after they bought the house, she says, as soon as I looked at that house, I felt danger or something like that. I'm like, so you mean to tell me that you let this man spend, both of you guys, because I'm assuming they all had the conjoined savings. You guys spent your full conjoined savings on a house that you said as soon as you looked at it, you felt danger? You didn't think that would be a thought that would be worth verbalizing, before we pay the money for this house, that you feel this way? As opposed to, once I sign the check and it's been cashed, oh, I don't want to live here. Secondly, she almost redeemed herself. I was like, because I'm like, I'm not going to stay there. I don't care what kind of point they're trying to prove to get me out the house. Staying there is not worth it. That house is not that great to be risking my life for, having teeth falling from the sky and being almost drowned and seeing stuff. Like, no, it's not that. It's not that serious. And I thought that she, was getting some common sense, because when they watched that tape, she was like, you know what? Y'all do what y'all gotta do. I'm leaving. I don't care how you feel about this house. I don't care what point you're trying to prove. I'm leaving. So she was leaving out, and she hit, I believe it was supposed to be Kathy Bates' character, along the side of the road. Now, this is where she messed up. Because she got out the car. She saw that whoever it was that she hit, whatever the Kathy Bates character is, whoever it was that she hit, mind you, she's already frantically just trying to get away. If that person got up, dusted themselves off, and ran into the woods, I'm not running after them. I'm not. Clearly, you're fine. I don't need to run after you and ask you over and over again in the woods at night with only a flashlight, are you okay? Clearly, if you got up and you walked away and you didn't try to collect any insurance information, you didn't try to, yell at me or be upset of what just transpired, if you got up and walked away, then that's it. I'm not going to investigate any further at this point. So the fact that she ran off into the woods, yelling, screaming, probably with her car still running, I was like, okay, see, I was about to give you credit for being smart, but then you just turned around and did something stupid. So then we come into episode 2, and she sees the human, whoever the Kathy Bates, that whole little group of whatever they're supposed to be, puts this pig head on this dude's body and set him on fire, and she's just looking there horrified. And they tell them to seize her because they see her in the background, so they're chasing after her. And then as she's running, Lee pulls up. Angela Bassett's character, or her husband's sister, pulls up and finds her, takes her to the hospital, tells her, they try to test her thinking that she's on some kind of drugs because of all the things she's been talking about, and they said that she's completely clean, so there's nothing medically wrong with her. And this is another part that was bizarre, because when the husband came and saw her in the hospital, and he says, "I'm sorry that I didn't protect you, but we're going to get out the house as soon as possible," she turns around and says, "No, we're not going to leave. If they want to fight, we'll give them a fight." I'm like, see, this is where you lost me again, girl. You lost me again. Why are we fighting? Well, you know what? Okay, realistically, did they not have any other friends or families or just anybody who was willing to take them in? Because it looks like the reason why they're staying, aside from this whole fight for not the right to stay or not being bullied, whatever that nonsense is, I'm assuming that they're staying because they put their whole life investment into this house, and it's not like they can just go and get another apartment somewhere else because they don't have any money. So I'm guessing that's why. But I'm like, is there nobody else? Nobody? But then she turned around and says, she's just so gung-ho on staying. I'm like, I don't know what I'd do, but I would not be there. I know that much. I would not be there. So Lee's daughter comes. The dad brings, the child to the house, and I already knew this was going to be trouble as soon as she pulled up. But you get to meet her daughter, and everything's all good and innocent. The daughter's on the floor in the kitchen, look like she's playing jacks. And the mother goes, I think, wants to bring her like a juice box or something. And she comes and she sees that she's missing, and she's looking around for the child. And we see the child is talking to her. What looks like she's talking to herself. And she's like, "Baby, who are you talking to?" She's like, "Priscilla." She's like, "Who is Priscilla?" She said, the girl with the funny clothes. And she's thinking that, since she's a child of a divorced parent, she's just making this up. But she was given some pretty intimate details, though. Like, the first time she was like, she wanted, I was asking her if she could make me like a bonnet or something. She's like, "A bonnet?" And your mom was like, "A bonnet for what?" She was like, "To stop the blood." I was like, "Oh no. No. This is taking a left turn that I'm not willing to go down. The baby's talking craziness, and I'm getting freaked out. Or at least if I was the mama, I would definitely be freaked out." So it's at night, and apparently they're hearing noises again, like they seem to hear noises every night. And Shelby decides that she's pissed off and she's not going to take it anymore. So she grabs a bat. She goes way out into the woods looking for whatever it is that they're supposed to be looking for. And they go out there and they find this pig sacrificial cross, whatever it is that was on fire. It was graphic. It was something to behold. And so they finally show this to the police, who haven't really, given too much, care or worry about this situation. He finally shows them to the police, and I guess they decide, okay, well, this is kind of undeniable proof. I'm going to assume that you didn't hoist up some giant pig head and set it on fire for yourselves. So they decide to finally give them like 24-hour surveillance and this, that, and 4. So I'm like, okay, cool. But they try to go back to sleep because, they're trying to, they're feeling more at ease now that there's a police officer outside. But Matt hears the phone ring. So he comes downstairs, And he picks up the phone and he hears like an old lady crying or somebody that's just making like a whiny voice on the phone. And he's saying, "Hello, who is this?" And he's still on the phone, but he notices that the phone jack that plugs into the wall is disconnected. So I'm just like, oh no, I already know this is not gonna be good. So he turns around, and all of a sudden, it's like a set where you see these two nurses and this old woman on the bed, and I guess one nurse is trying to feed the lady medicine, and she says she doesn't want to take it because it makes her feel ill. And the other nurse is like, "Is that back talk?" He's like, "I think that was back talk." And so she just turns around, grabs a gun, and shoots the lady. I'm like, "Oh my lord, what in the world?" And then they take a spray can and write on the wall, "M for Margaret," and they start laughing maniacally and some other crazy mess. So Matt goes crazy, runs outside to the police officer and tries to, tell them what he saw. Police officer comes in with the flashlight but doesn't find anything, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And his sister is worried that now they're going to be looked at as quacks that are crying wolf. Like the police are going to eventually not be so responsive to their pleas, because whenever they come, they don't find anything. The only thing that they found was that pig thing, but I don't think that's going to be enough. So Matt brings the child back, okay? Or no, he comes to pick up the child. Is what he's doing, and then they say that she likes to play hide and seek, so they're trying to look for the baby, and they go upstairs to an upper level, and they find her like in a side closet thing. And she's like, where'd she go? And they're like, who are you talking about? She's like, Priscilla. And they're just thinking like, okay, girl, whatever. And then he's like, well, what were y'all talking about? She said, I was gonna let her play with my doll or something. And she was like, well, why would you do that? He's like, for a trade. He's like, trade for what? He's like, so she doesn't kill us all. What? And he said, yeah, she's gonna kill us all and save me for last. You can just imagine as a parent how horrifying that could be. And that's how the dad was like. The dad was like, you know what? Nope. We're not doing this. Get in the car. Pack your stuff. Get in the car. You are crazy. I'm going to the judge. There's no way that she is going to come back here again. Nope. He was done. And with, all due, because my child walked in this house and just told me that we're all going to die. And that some crazy spirit is going to kill us all and kill her too. Nope. I ain't with it. So this pushes Lee off the deep end. So she's crazy. She's supposed to be trying to be sober, but it looked like she done downed the whole bottle of what looked like Grey Goose or vodka. And they noticed like all these knives on the ceiling. They're like, I didn't do that, but I don't think they believed her. So the couple, Shelby sees or notices that there's like a faint figure of a girl off in the distance. But they don't know about Priscilla, I guess is her name. They don't know about Priscilla just yet. So they don't really know who it is that they're looking at. And then they go out to where the place is, and they see this cellar. And so they go down there and they kind of see what's going on. And it looks like somebody had basically just took refuge underground, had been living there for who knows how long and for whatever reason. But then they find this tape. And they play the tape, and it turns out it's the same tape that was played for them in the house when they were locked in the basement. And there's this guy who's talking about, how he was living in the house and how some crazy things have been happening to him and how they got physical and they like scarred his neck. And he was giving backstory on how there were two nurses who were killing people based off of their first name, and they were killing people, using their name, the first letter of their name, to spell out their favorite word, which is murder, which is why when Matt saw those two nurses kill that lady and they said M for Margaret, like it was that scene was happening in that house. It was like it was playing out for him to see for some reason, only for him to see. And the guy was pretty much just explaining the whole origin. And they said that allegedly they fled the country before they ever finished out, the words of what they were doing. But he believes that something in the house or whatever spirits, whatever goes on, is what killed them before they could finish the word. And so he remembers that, what he saw, and then he goes to the spot that he saw it to pull back, because he said that they tried to cover up the letters many times, but it always seemed to seep in anyway. And so he pulled back the wallpaper and saw that those letters were indeed right there. So he was going crazy, and I'm just like, this is too much. This is a lot. It's but. And then Lee is after she done got drunk, she's seeing the nurses. They should appear into her room. She's seeing stuff on the wall and people and pig-headed people in the reflection of the mirrors and stuff. So she's just like, she's just having it. She's going through it right now. Really, everybody in this whole situation is going through it. Ooh, excuse me. So where are we? Oh yes. So as we remember, the dad took the child away, said he was going to call the judge, get custody, and all that stuff. Next thing you know, we see Lee pulls up in the car with the child in the back seat. And we're like, now we know that the daddy didn't just, okay this. So he said, I'm witnessing my sister commit a felony. Like, she basically kidnapped her own child. And so the Shelby calls the dad just to kind of let him know that his child is safe, so he doesn't send the police out and do all this other extra stuff. So he's calm for now. So she takes him into the other room to do her homework or whatnot, while they kind of talk amongst themselves. And so the girl, is doing her homework, and I guess she hears like some laughter or whatever, and she looks out the window and sees the little ghostly girl, which I'm presuming is Priscilla. And when they go to try to find her, she's gone. And so they looked in every inch of the house. And so they're outside running frantically, yelling her name, Flora, this, that, and the fourth. And they don't find anything up until they hear Lee scream. And they look up at this huge, tall tree, and they just see the baby's coat floating, dangling in the wind. I was just like, oh, no. No, please don't let them hurt the baby. I was thinking they was about to see her body hung up there. I was about to just start sobbing like, oh my gosh. I was not going to be ready. But so far this season, it's something. I feel like it's going to get there. It's going to have a turning point. But it's very eerie. Very, very eerie. A little bit more so than like Hotel and Freak Show for sure. But my gosh. So what do y'all think is going on? Because this is some wild and crazy stuff, man. We still don't know about them people with the torches. We don't know if those are the same people from the bid. We don't know who those human sacrifice people are. And now we have Priscilla out here kidnapping people. It's a lot. It's a whole lot for these people to be dealing with. And I mean, I guess we're presuming nothing happens to them since they're doing these interviews, but we'll see. But let me know what you guys think in the comments so we can kind of figure this out together. Well, thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video, which will probably be RuPaul's Drag Race tomorrow. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe.